Hey y'all, welcome to the live. Let me just get set up right here real quick. My bad. Hey y'all, welcome to the live. My name is Noelle, aka MakeupEsquire, and today we're gonna do a quick get ready with me, and I will be uploading this onto YouTube if anybody misses any of it. Hey Sylvia, welcome to the live. How are you? Good to see you. Hey Brittany, good to see you. How are you? Thank you everyone for joining. Oh, I have you laughing. Wait, did you see the first failed attempt when I turned it on and then I dropped it, so I had to restart? Well, you're a real one, Sylvia, for logging in right away. You just have to laugh. That's what happens with lives. Doesn't always go as smoothly as planned. How is everyone on this lovely Sunday? I'm getting ready for church, so let me turn on this monitor here next to me real quick so I can see the comments. Okay, there we go. So today I wanted to test out some new makeup products that have been trickling in from my Black Friday sale hauls. And first I'm using this Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is the eyebrow pencil that I had been wanting to try for a really long time, so I was waiting. Hey Elizabeth, welcome to the live. How are you, girl? Thanks for joining. Good to see you. I got some new Victoria Beckham Beauty products during the recent Black Friday sale, and I'm testing out this eyebrow pencil that I kept hearing rave reviews about. It's called the Baby Blade, and I have the shade dark brown. Hopefully the audio and lighting and everything is good for y'all. Let me know if anybody has tried this Baby Blade. I was hearing great things about it. I think Yasmin on here liked it as well. She's not on here. Hopefully we'll see her pop in. Hey New to Food Day, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining. It's so good to see you. How are you? I'm using the Victoria Beckham Baby Blade in the shade dark brown. Sometimes I get up on here with my brows done already because brows are just like not the most exciting part of a makeup routine. But today I wanted to showcase this Victoria Beckham Baby Blade. It's a good color, I will say. It's a nice cool tone brown, which is sometimes a struggle for me to find in brow products. A lot of times they're too warm on me. Even though the way I dye my hair is like a warm tone, like really, really deep brown, almost black, I still find that it just suits me better to have a cooler toned eyebrow. So far so good. I like how it has this little spoolie here too. I'm a fan of small spoolies because you could really get in there. Kind of like Sunsoray likes the Amicole, or Amy Cole, however you pronounce it, the brow pencil that I'm curious to try. But that one has a nice small spoolie on the other end as well. Good to see everyone here. We got Keisha, we got Brittany, we got Sylvia, we got Elizabeth, all my favorites. Still missing a couple though. Hopefully they'll be popping in soon out of our usual group here. Brittany, you're live yesterday. Everybody, if you're not following Brittany Davis Artistry, she went live yesterday and your look turned out gorge. I didn't title this live yet because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to title it. But honestly, Brittany, you're giving me inspiration, having done that beautiful eyeshadow look for Pantone's Color of the Year, which we all just found out was this lovely cool tone mocha mousse shade. Oh, Sylvia, and you're my soulmate. I'm so honored and flattered. I can't miss any of your lives. You're so sweet. Oh, I love you all. This is always so much fun, isn't it? So, okay, yeah, I will say, like, first impressions, I do recommend this if you're looking for a good brow pencil. I don't have any one particular way of doing my brows. Sometimes I use a brow pencil, sometimes I use an angle brush and an eyebrow powder. Sometimes I like to just use a good old brow pen. It just kind of depends on the look I'm going for and really just kind of like what mood I'm in. But I do always like to go back in with my little Tansado brush here, the KQ12S brush. This is the part that I usually try to spare y'all. But today I was just kind of like, I wanted to start on time, so I just figured I'd do this part on camera. But this is where I just kind of like carve out my brows a little bit just to kind of clean them up. Another reason I don't always do my brows on camera is because I could really be like a perfectionist. Like my OCD can really come out during this part and I could just like really get super anal about getting them very precise and perfect. I love your lives, Noelle. Brittany says, thank you so much. I feel like, I know, seriously, that's exactly how it feels, right? I'm so glad that we met through Sun. I'm following you right now. I can't miss the next one. Yeah, your makeup came out pristine. It was so good. It almost made me sad that you weren't going out and showing it off. Oh, she saved it. There you go. Okay, perfect. One in a while. Every Sunday night. Ooh, I would love that, Brittany. Thank you, Keisha. Yeah, everybody's so sweet. I love this community. All right, so the brows are pretty much on. I think we'll start with complexion today. I don't think I've showcased the McCreen Actives on a live yet. This is the one I used in my most recent reel. I've been enjoying this. I don't ever hear anybody talk about it, but I'm thinking about doing this pairing here for complexion products today. The Westman Atelier concealer is still impressing me. We talked about how that was a great concealer that came out this year. So let me just take this My Kit Co palette here and I'll pour a little bit of the McCreen Actives. It is marketed as a skin tint. So it says it has 45 plant-derived actives and a buildable lightweight tinted moisturizer. And I got this on Sephora. I have it linked on my LTK, but if y'all want me to send you the link to any of these products, feel free to just DM me and I'll go ahead and do that after this live. And so yeah, it's clean, vegan, fragrance-free, and non-comedogenic. And I can confirm that it doesn't have a fragrance. It says it's scientifically proven and dermatologists tested to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and reduce the appearance of blemishes and spots, smooth skin texture, and soothe and hydrate the skin over time while providing buildable coverage as makeup. And I will also say that it does give good coverage, especially for a skin tint, and it is buildable. So I really don't know why people don't talk about it. I will say one of the downsides that I'm seeing here is that it only gives you 0.5 fluid ounces and it isn't like the cheapest. I forgot how much I spent on it, but I find that a little bit does go a long way. So as you can see, I'm going to just kind of dab it on the skin. It just provides a really lovely finish and it wears really well throughout the day. So that's kind of part of the reason that it's been really impressing me lately, because I apply my makeup in the morning, like around 7:30. You know, one of the things that I do find is that it doesn't love silicones. So I did put on a silicone based, I put on my Murad chemical SPF underneath this. And I could still make it work, but I am experiencing like a little bit of pilling, and I always seem to forget about that when I put this on. That's okay, I just have to remember next time. But you guys can see that patchiness there. I've never heard of that brand. It's obviously big enough to be sold at Sephora, at least here in the United States, but it's not a brand that is talked about very frequently. And the only reason that I was curious to pick this up is because I have their concealer and I do really like it. It's in a glass bottle, but the downside I will say is that in that concealer, at least at the time when I bought it, and I bought it, I believe, off Nordstrom, like probably like a year or two ago, is that they only had 2 shades, at least when I picked it up. They can definitely expand their shade range. And then if for some reason I'm having a little difficulty like blending it out, like I just had right now, sometimes I like to mix my foundations with this Victoria Beckham Beauty and Augustinus Batter Primer. Hi, welcome to the live. And funny question, does Nordstrom have it? Hey Peach, welcome to the live. Good to see you. Kat's here. I haven't seen it on the Nordstrom website because I haven't actually gone out to look for it, to be honest with you. But I'll check afterwards if anybody's interested. I got mine off of Sephora and I got their concealer off of Nordstrom. Just a little bit of that Victoria Beckham primer really is helping this spread out and give it that emollience that it needed. This is like a really nice, lightweight, glowy primer. It doesn't add much to the skin. It comes in 2 shades that I'm aware of. And I have the golden tone one. It's called the Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer and Illuminating Complexion Cream. So I have the shade golden, but you can also get the shade that is like not as tinted as this golden one. Yes, I get up on here and do my lives typically on Sundays. Thank you all for mentioning that. Yeah, typically on Sundays because I go to church at 5 p.m. on Sunday evenings. So I figure I'm sitting here doing my makeup anyway. I might as well do it live with y'all. The primer doesn't affect oily areas on the face. So yeah, that's why I will say, like, when I do use this primer, I will try to not put a high concentration of it in my T-zone because y'all know, as I've said time and time again, that I have combination to leaning more towards the oily side. And so I try not to put like glowy primers in my T-zone area where I get the most oily. But it's okay right now, Sylvia, because I do have that Murad primer base underneath that is not providing me any moisture. And I also didn't put a moisturizer underneath either today. So I feel like I can get away with this because this particular skin tint isn't that glowy either. So I just have to be careful. Like personally, I wouldn't put on a glowy moisturizer and then put this on. This would essentially be your glowy moisturizer if you're in the habit of doing that. I do like this when I'm like mixing in a foundation that is like really mattifying, like the Tom Ford one, the one that they came out with recently. That's their matte foundation. If I feel like at the time my skin is too matte. Hold on, y'all. I see a spider and I just have to kill it real quick because I'm like not gonna be able to focus on this live. 1 second. All right, I got it. Sorry for all those animal lovers or insect lovers out there. I just can't do it, y'all. I cannot do spiders in my house. Yeah, I think that's probably why it doesn't play well with silicones, because it's probably water-based. And I have the shade medium deep. I don't see the ingredients list on here. I'll have to find the packaging. It even gives you directions on the back. It says, shake well before use, apply a pea-sized amount to each cosmetic area, feather in lightly with your fingertips or brush until absorbed. If it had glycerin. Yeah, I don't have the packaging in front of me to be able to tell y'all what the ingredients are, so I'm really sorry. I'll look it up though, and send me a DM if you're interested in it so I don't forget. Ironically though, says Sylvia, that primer might work because my skin dries up really bad with the exception of my T-zone. Yeah, exactly. So it's bougie, but you know who sold me on this is Michelle Wong. If y'all watch her channel, she like raves about this. So she got me to get it. And I think Andrea Ali, who's another makeup artist that I really admire, I feel like I might have heard her talk about this as well. Present as oily after a longish wear time. The glycerin in it will present as oily. Okay. Kat, I wonder if you're talking about this one having the glycerin or the McCreen Actives one having it. Y'all watch football? Yeah, Sylvia's a football fan. Okay, Brittany, you feel me on the spiders. Exactly. I can't stand them. Yeah. Okay, that's why it works so well mixed with other products, because this has glycerin in it. The one you were using. Oh, okay. So yeah, Kat, the Victoria Beckham one. Okay, yeah, see, Elizabeth, she watches Michelle Wong too. Same. I've been influenced by her so many times as well, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I love her. Okay, so for concealer, I have the Westman Atelier one here. And it has a little bit of a peachy undertone. This is in the shade M2. So I like how it conceals and color corrects at the same time. And it wears beautifully throughout the day, even though I'm not gonna be wearing this for very long. It's gonna take a BK Beauty concealer brush. I also washed my new Sonia G Trio, the scroll brushes that she just came out with. I was thinking about maybe using those if they're dry already. This is my little brush tray here of brushes that I recently washed. I have to rotate them out and put a new rotation in. Yeah, they're pretty much dry, so they're ready for use. This concealer by Westman Atelier has really been impressing me thus far. And pretty much everybody that I've seen review it has been saying great things from what I've heard too. Yeah, exactly. Oh, is Sun in here? I missed it. Oh, you're just tagging her. I know, we miss her, don't we? I hope she's okay. Oh, she's out with the family. Okay. Thank you for the update on that, Keisha. Good to hear that she's having family time. She's a busy woman. I love that y'all are connecting over football. I don't know anything about football, so I'm not the one to ask or comment on that, but love that you guys have that in common. I think we have a pretty good base going on. So I like how that McCreen Actives one is like, do y'all see that finish? I hope you're seeing it. Like, it just, It's not too glowy, it's not too matte. It just, like, it plays well with others for the most part. Like with the exception of the silicones, right? Like, it was patchy at first, but it kind of like fixes itself if you keep just kind of messing with it. And like I said, that primer by Victoria Beckham really helped. So that makes sense. Thanks to Kat for letting us know that it's because of the glycerin in it. So, okay, so, equal opportunity. We love that. Sports, action movies, and cars. The concealer is gorgeous on you. Thank you, Brittany. It gives her a notification when you tag her, even if they're not. Okay, so she'll be able to see it and know we're thinking of her. Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah. And I'm sure she'll say she'll watch it afterwards, which is totally fine. We'll do a little bit of powder, shall we? I have the Makeup by Mario one here at my disposal. Just gonna set the concealer, and I'm trying to think of which eyeshadow to use. Brittany, yesterday you dipped into some Danessa Myricks palettes, right? For your eyeshadow look. Brittany did this beautiful cool tone bronzy brown eyeshadow look with a lovely red lip, and it was beautiful on her. And there, I feel like, are a lot of colors like that are really gorgeous. I did recently pick up the Victoria Beckham lid lusters, but neither of the two shades in the lid lusters that I picked up are necessarily that like chocolate brown color that I'm looking for. But I think that maybe we can find one in a different like single shadow. I'm looking at my Dior ones here. I should have been a little bit more prepared for this, y'all, sorry. But like I said, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Oh, this one's a lovely one. Ooh, okay, I think I found it. Dior's Mono Couture eyeshadow in the shade 481 Poncho. It's a satin. Let me know if anybody is familiar with this one. It looks like this. I know. Her look was beautiful, and you weren't a mess. But Kat, feel free to bring it. We love you being yourself. Your car, Sylvia's decked out in red wing. Your main car, that's right, because you're a car collector. Decked out in red wings gear. I even have a light up logo for my car doors. Oh my gosh, I'd love to see it. Die Hard. It's a beautiful shade, isn't it? Let me just do a swatch here for y'all on my hand. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, is that giving Pantone color of the year? There's this other one here that I love too in the shade 14 Talpa by Chanel, and it's a little bit cooler. I'll swatch it next to it, but I was looking at this one kind of too. Okay, so right next to it is 14 Talpa. Maybe that one on top of the other one would be pretty. I'm turning the swatch this way to my right because I'm simultaneously filming for YouTube, and I'm trying to use a vlog camera so that I could upload it in a horizontal format as well as a vertical format. Okay, you're familiar with the product, says Kat. Just dropped that one this morning. Don't know where it went. Can't wait for it to get back though. Maybe it went out for a smoke break. Put it on top. Okay, yeah, Brittany. You like the idea of combining them? I think so too. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna take this Talpa shade and I'm gonna put it on top of Poncho. Yeah, and see what that gives us before we... Ooh, I think that's gonna be really nice actually. So I just put it on top right there. That's giving, right? Chocolate mousse. Let's just do the one and done look, and then we'll finish off the rest of the face afterwards, shall we? I kind of want to go in first with like a one and done, a bigger, larger brush here. So, oh, you know which brushes I recently picked up from Fude Bobo? Are these. I don't know what they're called or what she refers to them as, but this is another option here, this Canadian Squirrel one by Coyuto. I've been liking this one as a one and done as well. I have this one here by Takeda. It's a goat one, but it might be a little large. Okay, so I think maybe we'll go in with, let's do this one. I haven't used this one yet that I picked up on Fude Bobo. So this is, I'm going in first with the shade Poncho. And I didn't put on like a base or anything. So in my experience, these last pretty well on their own. Yes, thank you, Keisha. The Tea Squirrel and Weasel brushes. I couldn't remember. But yeah, that's exactly what they are. And I know I'm like just slapping this on like messily, but I don't have all the time in the world for this look, so I'm just trying to do an easy one and done. Trust the process here. Okay, I just wanted to get that initial layer on, and then I'm gonna go in with a clean brush. This is where I'll take my Sonia G, the OG Squirrel brush, and I'm just going to buff out the edges. That shade, OMG, I know, isn't it gorgeous? It's beautiful, even on its own. Thank you so much, Keisha, I appreciate that. She said that shade pops on you. Yeah, these single shadows are beautiful. I could see why people think that they're like overpriced, you know, and that you can get a whole palette for the price of a single shadow when it comes to like Chanel and Dior, but I just think that their formulas are really elegant. Look at how easy it is for me to blend this out. They really do stay on all day. I don't have to worry about putting a primer on, and I have oily eyelids because I have oily skin. Slapping things on before church, that's exactly what we're doing. Is so real. Sometimes you need to look like ready to mess away at church. Exactly. Oh no, Sylvia, no need to apologize. Please feel free to talk all the sports you want up in here. I enjoy reading it, even though I can't really contribute. I love the fact that y'all have that to connect on. Your inner prep boy, that's so funny. Yeah, you don't even have to be a mess to do it. Exactly. But yeah, like that looked kind of scary at first when I initially slapped it on, but I knew how easily these shadows blend out and how just user-friendly they are. I know, I wish I didn't have a time limit. Sometimes like on Brittany's live, it's just like she took her time and just perfected everything. And that is the ideal scenario when applying my makeup. But I just always feel like I'm in a rush when I'm doing my makeup. Usually I don't even have time for a single eyeshadow. Like I just slap a bronzer shade in the crease and a little bit of a highlighter on the inner corner and call it a day. Okay. So there's that. What do we think? Keisha, I don't need another single shadow, but I need that color. It's honestly a classic. You can't go wrong with it. Again, that's shade 481 Poncho by Dior. On its own. It's lovely. It's almost like it's giving like multi-dimensional, as if I had more than one shade on my eyes, except it's only one. And hopefully the lighting is picking it up. I kind of did a poor job of removing my mascara last night, so I have a little bit of leftovers, but it's okay. Sometimes that lived-in look, I try to convince myself is cute, right? All right, and then now I'm going in with the Chanel shade in the shade 14 Talpa. Gorgeous. That's this cooler tone shade right here next to Poncho. Yeah, when in a rush, it doesn't look anything like that, Brittany. That's why I asked you what your everyday makeup look is, because if it looks as beautiful as it did on the live yesterday, I need to take more notes from you. Sylvia feels the same way. When she's in a rush, she only uses mascara and nothing else. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I've even forgotten bottom lash mascara, which is usually like a must for me. The other day, I was like trying to film a reel at the same time that I was getting ready for work, and so that in and of itself was distracting. And then I got to work and I realized that I only put mascara on one of my eyes. I was like, how do I forget that? Okay, so I'm gonna take the Coyuto Canadian Scroll Brush here, dipping into the single Chanel shadow in the shade 14 Talpa. This is also a really beautiful one and done on its own. Yeah, okay, so Brittany said her daily makeup is the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm powders and her work lip, which is the red lippy she showed us yesterday, and top mascara. That's really all you need when you do like a red lip moment though. Like I almost like just having minimal makeup everywhere else. Okay, so that's the difference between just the shade Poncho on its own on my left eye here, and then on top of it going in with the Chanel Shadow and Talpa. Going into the other side. Yeah, work smarter, not harder. Okay, interesting you say that, Sylvia, because that's how I feel these single shadows are. Is literally like working smarter, not harder. Because they're such elegant formulas, it's really easy to just slap one of these on. You can be messy about it. You can have a huge brush like this and not have to be detailed, and then you can just blend out the edges and it just kind of looks effortless. You saw how quickly I just literally finished my eyeshadow by using those two shades, and I could have only used one or the other, but I think that kind of gave us that cool tone bronzy shade that we were looking for, right? One and done are perfect. Hey Didi Mona, welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. I just used these two single shadows. One of them is by Chanel and one of them is by Dior. The Dior one is in the shade Poncho and the Chanel one is in the shade Talpa. And we're going for that Pantone color of the year, bronzy cooler tone brown. Let's do a little bit of eyeliner. Ooh, y'all. Okay, if y'all saw my stories the other day, I did a haul with the new Victoria Beckham Beauty Satin Control liners that I bought. I already had a couple of shades in these, but this is my favorite eyeliner formula. So I wanted to pick up some more shades, and let's use, I think these two would be good for today's look. There's a lot that would, like the shade Cinnamon is probably like the perfect shade for this look actually. You know, the shade Cinnamon in the Satin Hijal liners, it's actually reminding me of exactly the shade that I have on my eyelids right now. It's just like in a eyeliner form. And watch me not be able to find it right now that I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's honestly, it's probably my favorite shade. It's like a everyday shade. Yeah, I do too, Kat. I wake up earlier so that I can have time to do my makeup too. Okay, so that's the shade Cinnamon. You see kind of what I'm saying? Like it's warmer, but it has like a sheen to it. Brittany, 3 kids. Wow, that's impressive. I don't know how you do it all. And I know you had just mentioned on your live last night that you're postpartum, so that you just had one of them. You're superwoman. Like I tell Sun too. She has 3 kids too. One of the newer shades in the eyeliners that I picked up is the shade Cocoa. And this is just a matte brown. So you can kind of see, I just put it right next to the shade Cinnamon, how next to the shade Cocoa, it definitely has like a sheen to it. An hour and a half, Keisha, for your flat lays if you're gonna do a photo. Otherwise you're ready in less than an hour. Yeah, beauty takes time. And especially when you're trying to film content, right? For all you content creators, you know the feeling of having to give yourself extra time. Otherwise, as it is, I'm like running around in the morning like a chicken with its head cut off, let alone trying to film on top of that. I try not to be a perfectionist about everything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Brittany says you have support from your husband and 7 and 5-year-old boys. That helps. They're little still too, but I'm glad that they're helpful. You got to start training them young, right, girl? I had 5 brothers, so I know how it is. And then maybe I'll just put the shade Cinnamon on the lower lash line so y'all can see how beautiful of a shade it is. It's like not too harsh, especially if you're not one to love putting black eyeliner on your bottom waterline. My eyeliners are always struggling to stay sharpened, so that's why I bought myself this little Glossier sharpener here that I can always have within reaching distance. I got eyeliner on the ball. Not sure what you mean. What do you mean, Kat? Did I get, oh, my eyeball. I didn't even notice getting eyeliner on my eyeball. Oh, if you're talking about this right here, I have a freckle. If that's what you're talking about right there. It might look like it. I really don't like it. I actually hate this freckle because it makes it look like I got eyeliner on it. Sylvia says to Brittany that she lets her husband take over everything, especially when I have multiple meetings in one day. He takes over cooking and anything else that needs to be done. Yes, Sylvia. Love that for you. It sounds like you have a really amazing and supportive husband. That's exactly how my house is. No gender roles. Like, I think that's how every household should be. And if I ever get married and have a husband one day, you know, my man is absolutely going to be needing to be doing whatever it is that I need him to do. If I'm busy doing other things, then I need that support. Oh, when I was doing my inner corner, I don't even see it anymore. But thank you for letting me know. Maybe it'll just look like I did it on purpose since I'm not being like too much of a perfectionist about this look. I'll smudge out the bottom lash line to just kind of make everything blend together. Hopefully that'll do the trick. And then I always feel like bottom lash mascara just brings everything together. I have this one by Thrive here. It's a good tubing mascara. Whenever I start out doing my eyes first, it's like I feel like the whole makeup look comes together faster. Out of habit, I typically do my face first. Unless I'm doing like a super intricate dramatic eye look. Then I'll do my eyes first. I'm living for the smoky brown look, says Keisha. Thank you so much, Keisha. I'm glad y'all like it. Let me know if you have any suggestions as to what to add or how to change it in any way. I hope it's showing up even too. Sometimes these lights play games with me. So that's probably also why I didn't see myself smudge the eyeliner. But that's kind of the idea of a one and done, right? You just kind of are messy with it. And that's the, like, you should be able to be messy with it and have it still look pretty good. And that's what I find is what you pay for in these luxury single shadows. You know, people can argue that they're overpriced for one single shadow, like I was saying earlier, and you'd rather get a full eyeshadow palette. But I kid you not, there's something about these shadows that make them so like user friendly. I don't even know if the camera is doing it justice, but like the way that these shades really shine on the eyelids and the dimension that they give it's just difficult to find even in higher end eyeshadow palettes. Like I'm thinking of like Natasha Denona, even like we like Natasha Denona, right? But there's just something that is just more elevated about these shadows by Dior and Chanel. And just a little bit more user-friendly. Like I said, they're not dusty, they're not powdery. You hardly get any pickup in the pan. They even come with these little brushes that like I never use, but honestly in a pinch, like you can totally use these if you needed to. But these are easy to just like, if you didn't have long nails like me, like put them on as a one and done with your finger on the go. And you also pay for the packaging as well, right? I don't even know where these little brushes are, but probably in there. They come with like a little felt case that I just take off and leave in the packaging. But it's the whole experience of it. Like, look, you have a cute little like mirror, just this lovely little compact. They're just adorable. Yeah, just communicate what needs to be done. Exactly. You agree, Sylvia? You don't understand why people compare drugstore makeup, yeah, to luxury. Even if the same company owns a drugstore brand and a higher end brand, they're just not the same. 100%, 100%. You just can't dupe the formulas. They are a slurry baked formula, says Kat. You're so knowledgeable. Thank you for bringing the knowledge. It's supposed to be better for mature skin. House lab shadows are the same. Okay, exactly. They're good for mature skin because they don't emphasize the wrinkles. It's almost like they just kind of like glide over them. Similar to how Hourglass has that ability of just being very elegant on the skin. And just like how the Hourglass formula, in my opinion, hasn't been able to be duped either. Why don't we stick to the bougie makeup and then use a little bit of Tom Ford's Terra here. I think this will be a good bronzer to use for this look because it is, as I was saying the other day, I think I might have used this on my last live, but I was saying that it's to me like a Brontour type of bronzing powder, which I enjoy because it's a little bit cooler toned than our typical bronzer formulas. There's so many out there that lean more like on the warm side. Like just right here handy, I have this Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Caramel Cutie, and the reason I don't typically reach for it is because it's not even the warmest bronzer either, but it's not as cool as I usually prefer. It definitely has like a more yellow undertone. I'll swatch it next to Tom Ford's Terra for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So although Fenty has that bronzer in a ton of shades, which we love. The Tom Ford Terra one almost like doesn't even like swatch very well. It's not as pigmented, but I did put it right next to it right here. But a similar one that it reminds me of is the Westman Atelier bronzer, which is also kind of like a bronzer shade for me, if you will. It's nice and buttery too. So you see how it's cooler? That's kind of what I prefer in my bronzers. But it's still not a contour per se, because this is like my favorite perfect contour powder here by Natasha Denona, and the contour sculpting powder in the shade medium. And I'll swatch that next to the Westman Atelier butter bronzer so you can see that it's even cooler. Okay, so that's the Natasha Denona. That's usually the color that I use for my contour. Hey son, welcome to the live. Good to see you. I look gorgeous, thank you. Have fun with your family. Thanks for popping in, good to see you. So that's the Natasha Denona, the cool tone contour shade that I typically use. And then right next to it, I put the Westman Atelier bronzer. This is the powder bronzer, the Beauty Butter bronzer in the shade Soleil Riche. And then this is the Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Caramel Cutie. So you can see it's certainly warmer. It has like a yellowy undertone, right? So I don't know, I just don't tend to gravitate towards super warm bronzers because I just have a more neutral undertone to my skin, a more neutral olive undertone. So if you have a similar skin tone to me, then maybe you can try more neutral leaning bronzers and see how you like them. Another one that I recently picked up that reminded me kind of the same vibe is the Giorgio Armani bronzer. You know, the big one that they released, specifically in the shade 90, because I did try the shade 100, and this shade 90 is a little bit too light for me, but I really enjoyed the undertone. So that's why I ended up keeping it. I swatched it right here. So it's not as cool, but it has like a slight olive kind of undertone to it. It's a little bit more green. Actually, since I already have this out, maybe I can just slap it on real quick. But see, for this one, I would not necessarily use like a squirrel brush here because, like I said, it's a little bit light. It does pick up though, so let's see. It might be fine. I like using squirrel brushes if I'm going in with like a more pigmented formula, like the Westman Atelier one, for instance. It's quite pigmented. Hopefully that's showing up, but I actually think it's doing a good job of picking it up and putting it down. Hey Cindy, welcome to the live. How are you? Sylvia says, my issue with the warmer tone bronzers is that they look too orange or yellow. Exactly. That's what I was trying to portray with these swatches, is that they can easily lean more orange or yellow if you have a more neutral to olive leaning skin tone like me. Keisha says she has a Westman Atelier bronzer but never use it because it smells like cooking oil. I'm sorry to hear that. I've never noticed that about it. I wonder if mine smells that way. Mine has no scent to it. I wonder if you got a bad batch. But then again, I don't know. I've been on here before saying I don't smell things that other people do because my allergies are always poppin'. So I don't know if I'm the best one. I always have a spoolie on hand because when you use Fude, you get little stray hairs. Yeah, mine doesn't have a scent either. So Sylvia's doesn't have a scent. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm glad it doesn't. Yeah, that sounds very off-putting. I'm sorry about that. So I have heard people enjoy this bronzer, and particularly people that are around my skin tone enjoyed the shade Up. I just didn't feel the need to have both, and I kind of liked the fact that this wasn't super pigmented. So I just ended up keeping this one because the shade Up, the shade 100, and then the shade Up from 100 and 110, it just gets warmer and warmer. And I just felt like I could use this bronzer, either diffuse a darker bronzer or kind of like marry it and make sure it's like blended in. I didn't feel the need to have another warm tone bronzer, and because this one's kind of like a unique shade in my collection, I just decided to keep shade 90. You didn't even have it more than 12 months before returning it. Oh, 12 minutes, not 12 months. Well, I'm glad you returned it because yeah, I'm a believer in returning things that don't work for you. We work too hard for our money, right? I grew up with my mom who does not feel similarly. Like, she was not one to go return things. I think she just like was embarrassed, and I don't understand that at all. I specifically shop at places that have good return policies, like Nordstrom, who we've mentioned has like the best return policy ever. And so yeah, because they have such a great return policy, they take a ton of my money. But that's why I think it's worth shopping at places with Sephora has a good return policy, so does Beautylish. For the most part, not as good as Nordstrom, but I'm just gonna, I take like a smaller brush and I kind of get closer to the hairline. So that's kind of what I'm doing to make sure, since my hair is up, it's a fine line between messing up the hairdo and also not making it look like I have a mask for not blending in the bronzer into my little baby hairs. Okay, my issue with that specific bronzer is that it was made in China with a made in Italy price. Oh, you're talking about the Armani one? Interesting. You're right. It does say it was made in China. I hadn't even noticed that. Interesting. I wonder if all of Armani's products are made in China. Let's see. This is a blush from Armani. This is made in France. I wonder why they had this bronzer made in China. You're right. It's not the cheapest bronzer out there. This I know is not going to be made. This is made in Korea. This is the one that I used the other day. They're melting balms, the Neo Nude melting color bombs that for some reason they took off of the Sephora website, but they still have it on their own website. So it looks like Armani, I guess, outsources their products to different places, just depending on the product. That's kind of disappointing. It's just that bronzer. No, you're right. It does say made in China right now that I look at it. I will say that it has like a very large pan. It's quite satisfying to be able to get like a big fluffy bronzer brush in there. All right, I think that's looking pretty good, right? Yeah, thank you for letting us know that, Sylvia. That's very interesting. I should do better about looking at where my products are made. Sometimes I just don't even think to. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a nose contour here. Sometimes my nose contour turns out okay. Other days it's atrocious. It just kind of depends on the day. It's disappointing because their products aren't very consistent. Yeah, like I just picked up 3 products and they were all made in different countries. If they're outsourcing their products, that would make sense. Keisha says, I passed on the Armani bronzer because I prefer matte bronzers and that has a shimmery finish. You're right. And that's why I was debating on whether or not to keep this, Keisha, because I feel exactly the same way as you. I'm usually not one for shimmer, which is why I would not even say that this is a holy grail for me, because I will always just grab for a more mattifying bronzer than a non-mattifying bronzer. I specifically have to be really careful to keep this Armani bronzer on the perimeter of my face only, not where I have like the most problem with texture or anything like pores, like just because of that shimmer in there. And I really was debating on whether or not to keep it because I started using it and then I was like, okay, I really hope that like the shimmer is just an overspray. So I just like kept using it in hopes that I could just get that layer off, but then I realized it's not an overspray. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, well, is it even worth still returning? You know, I didn't pick it up that long ago. So it's like, I think it still definitely would have been acceptable to return it. And like I said, I was debating on it for quite some time. Okay, this is what I kind of don't mind the shimmer for, is to slap this on in the crease. I do find that the slight bit of shimmer in there kind of does help it blend. So that's like the one good thing about the shimmer. You look like a glazed donut within an hour. Yeah, I feel similarly to you because I have quite an oily skin type. I'm trying to keep up with all the comments, so I'm really sorry if I miss any. It's probably made in China because they don't have to do as many shades in China. Since the Chinese makeup market is focused on pale, it was probably made with being exclusionary in mind. That's true. But then again, maybe be able to say the same thing about Korea, because these Neo Nude blushes are made in Korea and I have a few shades in them and they're pretty pigmented. Like I wouldn't say that they all lean just toward like lighter skin tones. And I would say the same thing about the blushes too. I'm happy with the shade range in their powder blushes. But I will say these are made in France. We all know that France makes great makeup. Let's do a blush, shall we? I'm trying to think of which blush I should do. Probably more of like a bronzy blush. Rosy Beige by Gucci. What do we think? You like makeup from Korea, Sylvia? Yeah, Korea makes good products, skincare and makeup. The thing about Korean incubators when doing business outside the US is that they typically have a minimum on what needs to be ordered. So brands have to use a certain amount of darker pigments for it to be worth it to Korean factories. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Kat, for all of the info. I wasn't aware. How about we use a red squirrel brush? I hope this color will look okay. I picked it because it's a little bit cooler leaning and it's on the neutral side, so we can still let the eyes be the stars of the show, right? With this blush, Rosy Beige by Gucci. However, brands making stuff in Korea for Korean beauty standards, yeah, they don't have to do the most inclusive shades, to say the least. Yeah, true. And a lot of times they aren't very inclusive. Yeah, thank you, Peach. It's interesting. A lot of companies typically have an MOQ though. I don't know what that stands for, I must admit. I better get going on this look because I'm gonna have to go soon. Okay, I'm picking up the shade Gris in Max Lip Liner because it's cooler. I have this Tom Ford, the Soleil Liquid Lip Blush on, which is why my lips appear pink. It's like tinting them. It's like one of those pH ones. Probably wasn't even the best idea for this look because now I feel like they're too pink and I need to tone it down a little bit. I'll use this Gucci one in the shade Linda Beige since it's like a pale nude and I think that's what I need. It's really pale, but I kind of like that sometimes when I'm looking for that. Chantecaille's Patience, the lip cheek would also be great with this look. Here's Patience. That would be good too. So a little bit cooler leaning, right? Cute. And then as a gloss on top, we can do Lawless, I was thinking, in the shade George, because it does lean cooler, as you can see. It's kind of giving the same vibe as like everything else that we've used, like the Rosy Beige blush. And I get to indulge in a lip gloss because my hair is up, so I don't have to worry about it sticking to my gloss. What's your go-to nude color? Charlotte Tilbury's Penelope Pink. Oh, I have that one. That one's great as well when it's outlined with the darker liner. Love that. Hey, Devin, welcome to the live. How are you? Finishing up this makeup look. What y'all think? You'll want to see my outfit for church. So I have, of course, this Jenni Kayne sweater here. I'm obsessed with this. It's their, I think this is called their Cocoon. And I swear I have this in like 5 shades. It's so cozy, y'all. I love it. You can find it on my LTK. Ooh, thank you, Keisha. You like my makeup look? I didn't even have time for highlighter, but I could slap some highlighter on if y'all want to see it. I'm kind of happy with the way it is though. Thank you so much. Stunning, gorgeous. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Y'all are so sweet. You inspired me today. Okay, what perfume should we use? Valentino. I recently picked this up from the Sephora sale. I need to be glowing for Jesus, says Kat. All right, let's do it. Let's see, which one should we use? How about Hermes? It's in the shade Coral, but I'm thinking I'll kind of focus more so on like the inner portion. That's a little bit more of like the white champagne so that it's not too warm. She is hilarious. She brings all the entertainment to the lives. That's why we don't want you to simmer it down, Peach. Nothing like a good highlighter, right? A little bit of this Valentino. I forget what the name is, but it came out recently. I think this is limited edition. Not over the top? Okay, good. Oh, Sylvia thought I could have skipped the highlighter. I just put like a little bit. I just hit the top of the cheekbones. I didn't want to like ruin the glow that we already had kind of going on. Golden Born in Roma. That makes sense. Yeah, it probably is. I have a number of these and I really enjoy them. So when I saw that they came out with a new one, I was like, oh, let me just pick it up. It was a blind buy. But I love the packaging. Honestly, the packaging is what really sold me. How gorgeous is this? Isn't that beautiful? This is a good gift if y'all are looking to find a good gift for someone. If y'all are interested in any of these things that I used, I'm happy to link them on my LTK. Most of them I think are already linked on my LTK, but feel free to DM me if you're looking for anything in particular. Packaging is outstanding. I completely agree, Sylvia. And then shoes are the usual shoes that I have been loving. These are also Jenni Kayne My mom was looking at them the other day and she thought they were like too expensive for what they are, but I think that they're extremely high quality, and for as much use that I get out of them, I think it's worth every penny. These say on the bottom that they're made in Portugal. I don't know if they're hand stitched or what, because they're like almost $500 or something like that. But the leather is really nice. And I won't get offended if y'all tell me that I ever buy anything and I paid too much money for it. Because I know arguably I do sometimes. But hey, if I'm going to wear them all the time and they're comfortable on my feet. And I got them on sale too. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with Valentino. Sylvia is a fellow Valentino lover like me. I need Noelle money. No way. I need Sylvia money. She collects cars. I'm not on that level. But like I said, I blind bought the Valentino because I have their other perfumes and I enjoy them. And I'm not actually that picky about fragrances. So I didn't do brow gel. Maybe I can just slap some on real quick. I just have this Benefit one here. Judgment free zone. Thank you, Keisha. That makes me feel better. Yeah, but like I said, that's what I was saying about building my capsule wardrobe as I get older, is I'm just starting to invest in these pieces. And I told my mom, I'm like, I'm expecting to wear these shoes my entire life. Like, these soles are so sturdy, like they don't look like they're gonna wear down. And as much as I've wore them, they look new. It's not hand stitched, but the leather is hand stained and the rubber is higher quality. So that's why they were probably made in Portugal. Thank you, Kat, for letting us know. Yeah, they feel really sturdy, very heavy. Like the leather feels so nice. And so I had seen that on the website. They just had like rave reviews. So I was curious. They carry them in a couple other colors too. They have like a beautiful cognac. And I think they have like one other color story, maybe that's like seasonal, that I was eyeing. I don't know if it's like olive, I can't remember. I was wishing that I had them in like a beautiful chocolate brown like this, but Lord knows I don't need another pair of shoes. I'm like running out of room in my closets. Okay, but yeah, our wallets cry, right? It's worth it when the quality is good. Thank you for agreeing with me, Sylvia. Even though y'all don't have to agree with me. But I think that's why we're all friends here, is because we can relate on that front, right? Okay, well, I have to run, y'all. But thank you so much for joining me on this live. I had so much fun, per usual. I will upload this afterwards. They'll probably last you a lifetime unless your ligaments grow. Thank you, Sydney. Yes, exactly. Like I don't think that my feet will grow anymore. So hopefully they don't. They're just really, really practical. Like I kid you not, I wear them almost every single Sunday for church, and then they're like oftentimes for business casual Fridays at the office as well. I just love them to just slip on. They like go with everything. All right, well, I gotta run, y'all, but that's the look. Thank you so much for joining the live again. So nice to have y'all here. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday. But yeah, love you. Bye.